The Burke Center's involvement in studying a series of 11 lakes out here in the Penokee Hills near Mellon, Wisconsin, began right around the time there was an iron mining proposal in this region. All of these lakes are connected to the Bad River and flow out through the Kakaga and Bad River sloughs and into Lake Superior. And so one of the things the Burke Center was able to provide was lake management, or ability to study lake systems. We proposed to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to study 11 of these lakes over the number of years. And as the mining project has sort of faded away, the project has evolved into these lakes provide a really great example of what undeveloped lakes should look like, what healthy lakes should look like. Part of our main charge is to provide student applied learning opportunities, and the lakes here provide a great opportunity for Northland College students to learn the basics of how do you collect data from lake systems, how do you interpret that data, and then how do we use it in a management context.
So every time we go out to one of our lakes, we'll motor out to the deepest hole, which is per the DNR protocol. It's the most representative spot to do a profile, and then it's also usually towards the center of the lake, so it's most representative that way as well. And then we do our water quality sampling suite. So we'll do chlorophyll, total phosphorus, soluble reactive phosphorus, and those just give us an idea of A, what kind of productivity is going on in the water, and then B, what is there fueling the productivity, getting an idea of what sort of nutrients are there to support basically the base of the ecosystem food chain. We then do a chemical profile with our sonde unit. So that's essentially just a bunch of chemical probes on a unit that is lowered into the water, and from top to bottom we get an idea of parameters such as pH, conductivity, DO, temperature, all stuff that's relevant, A, to the stuff that's growing plant-wise, but then B, to everything else that's living in the water. We do a Secchi disc reading as well, which gives us an idea of how much light penetration there is, and in these lakes, which are really tannin stained from all the pines and coniferous forest around, that's generally pretty low. So it's really interesting to study these ecosystems and how the light and nutrients interact with one another.
These are great projects for first-year students to work on in terms of just learning what are a few basic things you do to study a lake. So that goes actually from how do you row a boat, how do you put a canoe in the water and safely paddle out to a site, how do you use a GPS for navigation, how do you operate a motorboat and back it into the lake. So there's a lot of practical skills associated with just the boat work and getting to a site and navigating. But then there's also a lot of the basic water chemistry, collecting water samples from a lake and taking water clarity readings, and some measurements with a sonde instrument are really not that difficult to do, and so they're pretty accessible for people who are just learning these things. But the data and the information that's collected as part of that work it really forms the basis or the foundation for understanding these systems and developing the management plans.
And it's been a really cool opportunity to basically do a practice grad school experience and have really hands-on experience that goes a long way as far as coming right out of undergraduate, which is really cool.
And this sort of series of lakes right here really provides just a great opportunity to study lakes over the long term. And so I hope we're able to continue to do that and to continue to just increase the amount of opportunity for our students to really have a high quality undergraduate science experiment that'll set them up really well for the next stage in their careers.